Hey everybody, it's Dawn here for just a brief video follow-up to the little 4-second video I posted the other night. I got my buddy here. This is Zeus. I'm dog sitting and he's wanting to be close by today, so I love that. Oh my goodness. So I just wanted to pop in for a brief video to follow up on my last note post about the undoing, and I was called to kind of make a longer video to give some further explanation to that, but I just really wasn't able to do it. I attempted to express it, and I just got bogged down a bit, and then I got emotional on the second try, and I just asked for some other way, and I asked for confirmation as well, because obviously that's a very it's a serious thing to share about something that is unfolding in the spiritual realms in terms of this dynamic, this call to sacred partnership, and for a portion anyway of those who are on this journey. And so I did receive that confirmation same day of January the 31st in 3 different rapid succession, and thankfully someone else spoke very clearly, actually much more articulately than I could have, about what had occurred. So I saw that, and I know that those of you who are meant to find that will have found that video. And again, I want to say that what I shared in terms of the undoing or the unraveling or the change in the connection it is for a portion of those who are called to this path, and it does have to do with in my understanding of a change at the highest levels of how this plays out here and now in our time and space. But I did want to pop in and just say that I did mention that it was an extremely difficult day for me, and I wanted to follow up a little bit and just clarify that, just to say that nothing occurred in the physical or in terms of my perspective. Those of you who followed me know that it was February 5th of last year. I was given that date, February 5th, in, I believe, December of the year before. So December of 2017, I was given the date of February 5th, 2018, when I personally, on my personal journey, there would be a freeing from the contract, if you will, the soul contract, on my part. And I then was no longer bound. I'm having trouble with the words here, but in any case, so it's been so we're coming up on a year from that date, and it's been a year of a lot of changes for me, and so to be honest, I haven't been, I've just been in somewhat at peace with the particulars of the connection in my own personal journey. Also very aware of my commitment to the larger mission has never wavered and will not waver. And at the same time, I've been a bit like, okay, what's this about? And then just like everybody, I went through the 2018 bumps and hurdles and interesting little situations that presented themselves in one way or the other, both in terms of the specifics of this journey and in my larger life. And then recently, so here in January, I've taken some pretty bold steps forward in my own life and figuring stuff out, and that's great. And opened myself back up to dating and other kinds of things, and that's been interesting in a journey, and who knows, I have no attachment to how it goes. But in any case, when this all came back up on the higher levels for review, that's what was difficult for me, is the larger, through the sweep of time. That's what's difficult for me, not the personal. That's been difficult too, just because there's a sense at which like I have given everything I had to fulfilling at the highest levels I understood my own commitment and unwavering faith in humanity and in what we are here to do, to be love. And I that has not changed. And yet the way that I am clear it has been meant to unfold has not unfolded for many of us. And, you know, in my own journey, I've been shown some new ways of being, and as I said, it's sort of a freeing from the initial contract. I mean, my feelings, and my human feelings have shifted somewhat, but my overall love could never change, nor could my understanding, or my understanding could change, but my knowing of, you know, my own soul's calling, and how that is intertwined with the individual who is my counterpart or complement, you know, that's never changed, and really will never change. But so when it came to this, what was unfolding at the higher levels, I was kind of aware of it for a couple months, actually, that was a potential, that there would be a shift in how the open channels of the connection, I felt intuitively that would shift. Actually, in last November, I made a video and I called it Schism. And I kept it for a long time, you know, probably right around to the end of the year. And then I deleted it because it's been my intention all along when I was called to start sharing these videos, I didn't want to. And yet I knew that, you know, my own journey has been very similar to so many of yours. And also I do feel that I sometimes have something unique that, in terms of my own experience of this journey, to offer. And so anyway, I had made this video called Schism and deleted it at the end of last year because I really didn't want to influence anyone else's experience or journey. And we all have the opportunity to, you know, we all have free will, divine masculine, divine feminine, and how we approach this is completely, it's a choice that we can make in every moment. And really that's what life is, right? And sorry about the light, but let's see, I don't know if that's any better. Okay. So I wanted to just offer that up in terms of, I didn't want anybody to think this was, that my last video was purely personal. And I also, because I was asked to share it in terms of what had unfolded, was a shift. And that, in a sense, it's a relief to me personally. But the sadness that I felt, I had such hopes for the larger picture of this. It wasn't so much about my own experience anymore. It used to be, but that shifted for me in the end of 2016. But still, I know what we are here to do. I see the beauty that we are here to usher in and to break open for the world. And we still are, like, regardless of how this plays out or what happens. And, you know, it does feel like an undoing at the highest, purest levels, unraveling, undoing. But, you know, here's what I want to say. That opens, for those of us who allow that, and who, and, you know, I don't know how much choice we all have in it, but in any case, for those who accept and move forward, you know, as I have been seeking to do in my own life, then there will be, opportunities. And, I spoke about 6 months ago about the potentialities. I was shown, it was actually last August and September, about the interesting, I think I alluded to the interesting potentialities that I was shown. And I see now that those are connected to what unfolded the end, last couple of days. And here, as we go into this new moon, it's another shift point. With the new moon, I think is the 4th or 5th. I'm not quite sure when. Interesting for me because that's exactly a year. And the year before that, there was something else. There was a full moon, I believe, or maybe it was a new moon. But I was on a trip in Ireland when I lived there, and I went. County Donegal is my favorite there, and I was on this trip that was amazing and very connected to the call to sacred partnership and the larger purpose of who we are and who we are here to be. So there's lots of timing connections for me personally, and then also for the collective. I really sense that this is a positive thing. So that's what I want to say, because I'm not sure that came through in my little note, that I wrote. I did the best I could with what I was given. And again, I apologize for not being able to do a longer video. I'm not really feeling called to attempt that right now. But all is well. And my grief or sadness about it wasn't like a mission failure. No way. Because we each individually can show up, and maybe it's not going to look like, the plan or the intention was. But here's what I believe, that as we in every moment connect to our soul's truth and radiance, and particularly we who are called to the path of sacred partnership, bring our whole selves and our soul selves forward in every moment, in every experience, and allow the flow of divine will to flow through us freely, and surrender any outcomes, then all will unfold as it's meant to. And so I just wanted to come and share that quick note with you. I also want to, on a personal note, just say one thing, which is a bit of a ego response, but like, you just bear with me here. I'm just owning that this is me, Dawn, speaking this. I all my life, I seem to have come into this life and my soul seemed to have chosen a path where I would be. The people would make assumptions that she's on that side, she's on this side. So all my life, the obvious place where that's occurred has been in this, people on one side of the spectrum wanting to, all right, can't get rid of the sun, on one side of the spectrum wanting to cast me in this sort of, I came from a traditional Christian background, and so those people who kicked me out of the church 20 years ago and whatever want to, put me in they want to label me and put me in a stream of, at first it was just, sinner, inappropriate, wrong, bad, whatever. And then it was, she is new age and she is in that spiritual camp over there. Meanwhile, these people, she hasn't left her old tradition and she is stuck to the past beliefs, or, she is this, she is that. You know what? And more recently, we go down that splinter. So this is the whole thing that happened with the church when it was made an alliance with the government, the Roman Catholic Church, what became the Roman Catholic Church, which is, it was a corruption of the pure stream of faith. But this is the same thing that replicates again and again and again in society, and in personal judgments that we make toward one another. And I'm not immune from that. I absolutely have done that, and I am aware of that. But what I'm trying to say here is the bigger point is that, for me personally, what I want to say is I do not belong to one camp or the other. And if you don't resonate with what I'm sharing, then there's an off button. There's a stop watch. Don't watch. And don't listen, and know that that is not my truth, Dawn, and move on. There's no need to categorize one another. There is no need for us to say, point at one another and say that judge one another in terms of what we do or do not understand. And you know what's broken my heart most on this journey isn't really the heartbreak, although that's definitely been there in terms of my divine counterpart. What it really is that we're all here. We are all here because we belong to one another and we belong to God. And we chose, once upon a time, we chose to say yes to the whole of who we are and to step forward and to walk in the way of light and life and love, to be here together, to experience that sacred union and to live it, from the inside out. And again, that occurs first here, right? And when we insist on, through haphazard comments or through direct challenges or to direct attempting to classify and label and categorize people, it's a very mind-based way of moving through the world, and it also is not consistent with who we are, okay? And I lost my train of thought. One of the most heartbreaking things on this journey for me has been, and this has happened in my life, like all kinds of places, not just with my divine counterpart, like literally, I would meet someone, 20, 30 years ago, and I'm like, they don't remember me. They don't know me. And I thought everybody kind of had that experience all the time until I was, until at least 15, 20 years ago. And most, really more so until about 7 years ago, I still thought people were kind of fooling and they didn't really, maybe there was a layer of them that didn't know it, but some, so in any case, people who don't recognize one another. And here's what I have to say to you. You know what? The person, I'm thinking of 2 or 3 people here, the people who have maybe attacked, me directly in one community or the other. It's all the same, right? Like it's like, you are my brother, you are my sister. We belong together. We are here to remember who we are together and to be on the way together, because that way is always opening up. So, I have great love for each of you, and it has been the deepest grief has been in the bewilderment that I have experienced at various points. People not seeming to remember, and when they do, not wanting to remember that we are on the way together, that we are here to support one another, to love one another. We are here to be the bearers of a great love, to live under the banner of his love, and to bear witness to that love as it appears in so many different forms, in so many different voices, in so many different experiences, and to honor it, not to dismiss it. So I know that, I still have work to do in that regard, because, I definitely get triggered because I feel it, even when people don't speak it. I feel it, and this testiness that you hear and see is only a cover for the deep sadness. And that is probably what the depth of my sadness was most about. Was the fact that we still haven't managed to love one another, even those of us going through the same experience. We still haven't managed to love one another, to embody that love and to allow it to flow through us. And I'm right there too. And so maybe this year, 2019, as we move into the 3 amazing years that are to follow, amazing in the big sense, maybe this is an opportunity to be clothed in purity and innocence, and to return to our natural state of love, beginning with a love for one another and an honoring of each voice